Howdy friends, and welcome to another great campground that is way off the beaten path. Today we are heading to the San Juan National Forest in southwest Colorado to Bridge Campground just north of Pagosa Springs. This area is about 280 miles southwest of Denver and about 215 miles north of Albuquerque, New Mexico. To get to the campground, you will travel north from Pagosa Springs and look for the cutoff to Piedra Road, which is County Road 600 on the west side of town. You won't see any signs, but it turns out this campground is in Terry's backyard, as my longtime friend Terry took me on a guided tour of this entire area near his home. You'll travel about 18 miles on 631 to a bridge that crosses Williams Creek. The road north of Pagosa Springs is a well-maintained road which takes you up through the valleys and meadowlands as you approach the mountains. It's not uncommon to see deer or elk grazing in the grasslands in this area, so keep your eyes open for herds of elk and deer all along this road. Once you arrive at the bridge, you can view access to Williams Creek, which was being used by this Forest Service truck to refill water tankers for several small fires up in the mountains north of here. The campground is on your right as you pass the bridge, and there is a nice view of the mountains. The 19 campsites have no electricity or water at each individual site, but water is available in each loop, and vault toilets can be found in the north end of the first loop and along the road between the north and south loop. All campsites are first come, first served. Campground sits at an elevation of 7,800 feet. There are great vistas of mountains and valleys full of cottonwoods, groves of aspen, as well as pine and blue spruce trees. Let's take a look at each individual campsite, beginning in the South Loop with site number 1. This is one of the smaller sites that you'll pull up next to, and it has a space for maybe a couple of tents at the most, and Williams Creek is running back behind it. Site number 2 is the same, only it's quite a bit larger. Sites 3, 4, and 5 are fairly similar and all have access to Williams Creek. Site number 6 is just past the dumpster, and it's a loop, and that's where the camp host is. Here is a view looking west from this group of campsites. And this is a view looking back from the road to the east at the campsites we just reviewed. There are some great views of the mountain cliffs to the west and the north, and you never get tired of looking at them in this very tranquil campground. The sites between the two loops, beginning with site number 7, are more open and have less shade, but they are quite a bit bigger. I stayed in site number 8, which didn't have much shade, but it worked out perfect because I was up there for stargazing during a meteor shower. Sites 9 through 12 connect the two loops, and you can see that they have varying degrees of openness and sizes. Site number 13 was tucked back into some trees, and 14 was a nice back-end site with quite a bit of room. Site 15 was very flat and actually had some shade in the morning and the evening. Site number 16 had a long driveway back behind the trees to a nice campsite along the river. Site number 17 was a little rugged, but it did have Williams Creek running right next to it, as you can see from this close-up view. Site number 18 was a little smaller than the rest in this loop, and it had a lot of bushes and trees around it, kind of limiting your view and the access to the creek. You can't see site number 19 from the road, but if you travel a short distance down the dirt road, you can see a very secluded campsite right next to the river with by far the best view in the campground, in my opinion. This is a beautiful campground for dry camping. It's far away from the crowds, very close to the mountains and nearby Teal Lake. I believe my travels will bring me back to this area for a little bit of solitude and lots of fresh air. Well, friends, this concludes this episode of the Bridge Campsite north of Pagosa Springs. I hope you've enjoyed the 4K videos of each individual campsite, and be sure to reference the campsite worksheet found in the description of this video. As always, be sure to like and subscribe to this channel so you can plan your next camping adventure. Until next time, so long.